because we did not come from here. The Igbo people are the oldest race on earth. That is why our name is Ndibo. Not Ndibo is a new name. Ndibo, ancient people, a conglomerate of several people who existed here even before the Anunnakis. There is no tribe that predates the Igbos. The first time I told the people that the Igbo people gave birth to Japan, they said I am crazy. I shut my mouth. Later, Japanese government said they are interested. I have to come. Because when I got there, I am going to show them why the Japanese answer names like Ogwejofo, Ngozeka.
The Japanese?
Yes. If you go to Kanagawa in Japan, you see that the Igbo people gave birth to Japan. When I told them that the Igbo people gave birth to the Harappan and the Dravidian civilization of India, people said I am crazy. But when I pointed Igbo things in India, in Hindu, in Sanskrit, everybody shut up. I asked them, why was the Ibuku report a zoom from Ibuku bearing Sanskrit writings on the body? Because the Igbo people introduced Sanskrit. But the problem is this: you have been made to believe, not know. You get my point? Someone belittled your heritage and told you that your history started from slavery, not knowing that your ancestors has been here for more than 1.6 million years. You get my point? Now, there are things I will begin to ask you now. You sound so gibberish. If you say that Abraham or Adam and Eve are the first man on earth, right? How old is your Bible story? Approximately 6,000 years, right?
Yes.
There is a pyramid in Indonesia, 27,000 years. Where was Adam when that pyramid was built?
That pyramid is still there.
Still here. There is a pyramid in Giza. The computer system started from Omenan. How? I wanted you to ask me how.
How?
In Igbo language, the Igbo people were the first people to understand the algorithm of the computer system. We called it Akwobi. Akwobi. You've heard this name, but Akwobi. Akwobi is what you call in mathematics binary. 0 and 1. The word Akwo is 0 in ancient Igbo language, the Afakot language, which men spoke when men were gods during Ogaka. So Akwo is 0, Obi is 1. So the combination and permutation of Akwobi gave the 16 constellation of every Afa language, including Odi, Obi, Otule, Obala. You get my point? So the Igbo people, we are using mathematical constants for communication. Do you get my point? I don't want to reveal much, but just for the sake of camera, the Igbo people, we are the first to understand the binary of everything. Now, before you have aircraft, the Igbo people have already practiced what we call atolopete, a cosmic vehicle through which our ancestors came from the other astral plane. But I said I will not make this teaching until my YouTube get to certain followership. I have reason for hindering that, because we did not come from here. The Igbo people are the oldest race on earth. That is why our name is Ndibo. Not Ndibo is a new name. Ndibo, ancient people, a conglomerate of several people who existed here even before the Anunnakis. There is no tribe that predates the Igbos. The first time I told the people that the Igbo people gave birth to Japan, they said I am crazy. I shut my mouth. Later, Japanese government said they are interested. I have to come. Because when I got there, I am going to show them why the Japanese answer names like Ogwejofo, Ngozeka.
The Japanese?
Yes. If you go to Kanagawa in Japan, you see that the Igbo people gave birth to Japan. When I told them that the Igbo people gave birth to the Harappan and the Dravidian civilization of India, people said I am crazy. But when I pointed Igbo things in India, in Hindu, in Sanskrit, everybody shut up. I asked them, why was the Ibuku report a zoom from Ibuku bearing Sanskrit writings on the body? Because the Igbo people introduced Sanskrit. But the problem is this: you have been made to believe, not know. You get my point? Someone belittled your heritage and told you that your history started from slavery, not knowing that your ancestors has been here for more than 1.6 million years. You get my point? Now, there are things I will begin to ask you now. You sound so gibberish. If you say that Abraham or Adam and Eve are the first man on earth, right? How old is your Bible story? Approximately 6,000 years, right?
Yes.
There is a pyramid in Indonesia, 27,000 years. Where was Adam when that pyramid was built?
And that pyramid is still there.
Still here. There is a pyramid in Giza, more than 6,000 years. Where was Adam? The Suda pyramid, how many thousand years? If they carbon date it, right? The Ibuku report, the Okigwe evidence, the Legend Soka evidence, Legend Soka, where we've been smelting iron as at 4,000 BC, before Common Era, BCE. So where was Adam when all these things was happening?
We are the oldest people on the face of this earth. Thousands of years. I didn't say, I said thousands upon thousands of years. If you go to the pyramid we built in Usude, that tells you all you need to know. We built pyramids before even the first vulture that heralded the coming of the Fulani landed on the Futajalon mountains. Before the first vulture that brought Fulani forth, before Udele, before the first vulture was hatched from its egg, we've been existing as a people. The Igbo, ancient people.
In your own word and in one statement, where do the Igbos come from? I know there are many ideas. Yes. Where would you say they come from?
I don't know where they come from.
Okay, you don't know where they come from.
But there are many speculations, many fairy tales. If you fancy any of them, I'll start reading them off to you. But I think we are trying to be scientific, realistic, rather than romantic and...
Okay, thank you very much, OON. You can...
I've maintained this ideology over the years. When people ask me, where did the Igbos came from? I've stated it categorically that despite the different variations of Igbo originality, where people say Igbo people came from Israel, Igbo people do this, Igbo people do that, like this joke by Yorubas saying that we are a mixture of a gala, a hybrid of this, Benin and that, and some people say we came from Congo. Some people even make a joke that Igbo people, they don't even wear clothes till 1940 when the British did it. You can see a video of 1930 of Igbos dancing, and you can see they are naked, But the truth is this: if you read the book, The Igbo History by Elizabeth Isiche, the UNM professor from New Zealand, married an Anyoma son, he quoted in that place that an Mbise man told her that Igbo people did not come from anywhere. The origin of mankind may actually start from the Igbos. And that is why our people know themselves as Ndibo, Ndimbo, Ndebo, no matter the dialect we want to produce. We're the Asian people. It was that word that was corrupt to call Ndibo today. Ndibo, the Asian people. And scientifically, it can be proven not by oral history. That is why the book, They Lived Before Adam, was written. Go and read that book. I just saw some clips on it. They lived before Adam. Because scientifically, it has been proven that we existed before Adam. We're the Asian people, Ndibo. That's what the man is saying. You see, the problem we have today is that even when science proves the existence of Igbo, people will not start contradicting the same science. You are using a scientific phone. You are driving a scientific car. You are using everything is science. But once the science proved the existence of Igbo older than you became angry. You want to do any test and it proves that person wife, person pikin no be own. You are happy. You believe it. You take drug. It cures you. Science prove everything. But once you read that science or by archaeology experience is proving the existence of Igbo, you get angry. My brother, try to be cured. Heal yourself from this self-hate. We are the Asian people. And remember, most of these research are not done by us. It is people who are inquisitive like you. You know, when Nigerians just make assumptions, they don't want to ask questions. That's the problem. Nigerians only ask questions to mock. They ask questions to downgrade you. When you see them making all this comparison about Igbo, it's just to bring the Igbos down, just to make them say Igbo people know they wear clothes, they are naked people, Igbo people don't have history, Igbo people do not exist, it's a myth, just to bring it down. Fine, you can do all those things. But the real question is in the research. And that is why you need to listen to this documentary, so that you hear the research, men who have put work and energy to define who human beings are and where we started from, so that you understand the millions of years that we have existed before Adam. I'm out of here, John.
We believe that our findings have expanded the parameters of knowledge. We believe that our findings call for another look at the history of mankind. We believe that it is important that history be rewritten so that Africa's place, Black Africa's place in it, will be ensured. The contributions of Black Africans towards the making of world civilizations are what our findings are about. I am here on the invitation of the Harlem Book Fair, the largest Black book fair in the world, to present our new book, They Lived Before Adam. Its findings, the prehistoric origins of the Igbo, they never been ruled. Alternative title is The Igbo Since 1.6 million BC. Two things mark out our work as a new, and as some say, groundbreaking addition to scholarship. The first is the discovery and transcription of lost stone writings of prehistoric Africans. These inscribed stones, located in southern Nigeria in a very rural place called Akom in Cross River State, have been attracting international researchers since the colonial days, but we were the first to see their inscriptions as a form of writing and to actually isolate and transcribe some of its letters. Another series of stone inscriptions called Ogam, found in Ireland, which many linguists have been struggling with for decades, were also transcribed by our team into an African language still spoken today in Nigeria. In fact, some Ogam descriptions were found in West Virginia in USA. What we have found in the case of the inscribed monolith of southeastern Nigeria, the monolith of Akom, is that they contain two letters that were the foundation of Proto-Cuneiform, a writing system used in Mesopotamia or Sumer before 4000 BC. The letters in question are the letter Ki and the letter Shi, the first and the last of the old Sumerian orthography. We also found some basic letters of early Egyptian hieroglyphics, such as the letters R and the letters N on the stones of Akom. But the majority of the letters on the stones are from a Dravidian Indian language called Malayalam, as well as symbols now recognized as universal due to the fact that they now form the root of most cultures, religions, and sciences in the world. These include the cross, the spiral, the triangle, the circle, the concentric circle, and every other known geometric shape. The antiquity of the stones and the fact that they were discovered in the virgin forest where many were buried underground shows that they were indigenous and that they belong to the twilight days of human history, prehistory indeed. Oral tradition of the natives of Akom say that the inscriptions were executed by the Stone Age people, the first humans to inhabit the area, and that they were invented by the first mother of humankind. They call this first mother Shisha, and say that she was the first woman to have borne a child by pregnancy, and that her first child was a boy, through whom sin and death came into the world. The monolith dedicated to her in Akom bear the name Shishe, just like the oral tradition, written in an orthography that includes Proto-Cuneiform, that is Sumerian Proto-Cuneiform, Proto-Canaanite, Dravidian Malayalam, and others. Her Akom name, Shishe, is the same Hebrew name which Adam called Eve in the biblical story of creation. Her eyes and mouth form the Canaanite Hebrew letter Ayin, which is the first and and highest sephira in the Hebrew Kabbalah. It represents the no thing, the infinite, the ineffable God. There are over 300 of these stones in Ikom, Nigeria. Another thing that marked a turning point in our research was the discovery by a team of archaeologists of the University of Nigeria and Nsukka of early Stone Age hand axes and other stone implements belonging to the time zone of 1.6 million BC to 500,000 BC. The archaeologists, Professor F.N. Anozie, Professor J.O. Ijoma, and others, working with some British faculty members of the Department of Archaeology, University of Nigeria and Nsukka in the 70s, discovered several lorry loads of non-polished as well as polished hand axes, picks, and other implements in a place called Ugwele in the zone of Okigwe in southeastern Nigeria. Their conclusion, published in a number of local journals at the time, was that the Okigwe home of Homo erectus, or Nigerian early man, was the one-stop shop, the warehouse that supplied survival tools to all pockets of Homo erectus habitation worldwide. For us, this means that it was from Okigwe, prehistoric Nigeria, that the out of Africa migrations of early man took off to populate the 5 continents of the globe. More so because Homo erectus implements discovered all over the world all look like they were made in the same Okigwe factory. This was also the conclusion of the archaeologists. Our linguistic analysis of samples of words from a number of languages spoken in all 5 continents of the globe today confirm what several other linguists have long suspected and concluded, that mankind, as the Hebrew Bible says, spoke one language at the beginning. Our comparative linguistic analysis of words from many languages across the globe show that Igbo, the language group that includes Okigwe, the home of the Nigerian Homo erectus, was in fact spoken by the earliest inhabitants of countries as far-flung as in Nigeria, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Turkey, India, China, Greece, United Kingdom, North America, South America, including the Greenland Eskimos. In fact, the 2 vernacular words that survived in Plato's description of Atlantis were found in sound and in meaning to have been directly derived from the Igbo language environment. So too were 90% of words used by Adam and his household, especially names of people and places and their meanings. Our research includes the origin and meanings of symbols used in every religion and sacred literature all over the world. In these, we found that Hebrew Bible, the Kabbalahs of the Hebrews and the Chinese, the Hindu Vedas and Ramayana, and the recently discovered Egyptian Christian Bible called the Nag Hammadi are of immense importance in revealing lost knowledge. Wherever we looked, we found evidence confirming the claims by geneticists who have been conducting mitochondrial DNA research in 4 leading universities here in USA, that all mankind came from sub-Saharan Africa, that Eve and Adam were black Africans. However, whereas it had been previously believed that Adam and Eve were descended from East African Lucy, our findings reveal that it was not an East African Lucy, but more like an Igbo Nigerian Chioma, who is actually from Okigwe, the home of the Homo erectus, who was Homo habilis ancestor of Eve and Adam. So what I'm saying is that it was not Eve, it was not Lucy, but rather a Nigerian Chioma, an Igbo Chioma, who was the ancestor, the Homo habilis ancestor of Homo erectus, who did the out of Africa migrations. We say this because research conducted by French paleontologists, led by Professor Michael Brunet, revealed that Australopithecus, the direct ancestor of Homo erectus, the ancestor of Homo sapiens, or Adam, lived at the Nigeria-Chad basin 7 million years, predating Lucy and even her newfound ancestors by a whopping 2 to 4 million years. This again confirms what Igbo oral traditions tell us, that we did not come from anywhere, that we are autochthons, that we are children of evolution, the uncreated, the never been ruled, the kings and queens of the earth and its peoples. Thus, Igbo oral traditions confirm the findings of geneticists that by 280,000 BC, human evolution was interrupted and Adam, a hybrid, was created through the process of genetic engineering. However, our findings reveal that the creation of Adam was a downward climb on the evolutionary ladder because he lost his divine essence. He became divided, no longer whole or wholesome. All over Africa and in ancient Egyptian records, oral and written traditions maintain that Homo erectus people were heaven beings and possessed mystical powers such as telepathy, levitation, bilocation, that their words could move rocks and mountains and change the course of rivers. Adam lost all that when his right brain was shut down by those who made him, created him. The direct descendants of Homo erectus were the small dwarfs who were the heroes of folk tales in every part of the world. It was they who founded and sustained Igbo civilization, where they continued to function till they were driven out by colonialists only recently. It was they who transported Igbo language and culture to all corners of the globe. Therefore, we say that the things falling apart, which you read about in Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, to whom this publication, The Lead Before Adam, is dedicated, refers to the falling apart not only of the Igbo of the colonial period, but of the prehistoric Igbos, the ancestors of mankind. Adam, who was taken from his Nigerian ancestry and moved and changed and altered and made to become less than his ancestry. The significance of this research work confirms both theories of evolutionism as well as creationism. That these two theories played some part in the development of the human species. That indeed mankind is one family and Black Africans are the oldest ancestors of humankind and the first to be called Homo. That the lost paradise of Eden was an African location. That in fact, it was a West African and Nigerian location. And that the solutions to the problems created by modernity through the fall of Adam are to be sought in Black Africa. Thank you so much. God bless.
We're going to open up the floor for questions. If anyone has questions, I assume there are two mics. There's a mic on this side. Please feel free to step up to the mic and pose any questions that you might have for the author this afternoon. Don't be shy.
My name is Dominic Parison. I'm an architect, also a professor at the City University of New York City College of Technology, and I find your information to be very, very interesting in essence. And the reason why is because there are stories that we've all been listening to and hearing for the past centuries. And most of the stories that we've been listening to were certainly more of what we call folktales. And at times when we're not educated in terms of the process of reading certain documentation in regards to whether it's bibliotech or whether it's about the existence of mankind or the existentiality. And my question to you is that how does that book pertaining to they lived before Adam defined the stories of the Bible itself or the bibliotech in a sense?
Well, we've spoken about the beginnings of humankind. We've spoken about evolution and then creationism. It's clear where Adam falls into that story. There is science and there is religion. religion deals with issues of faith. And mostly, we don't deal with issues of faith when we do research, because we believe that stories in the Bible, for example, as well as in some other scriptures, are like what you call folk tales and oral traditions. They are condensed information, condensed in such a way that the essentials are there, but the details are not often there. In the case of the creation of Adam and how it relates to the 280,000 years ago event when suddenly Homo sapiens sprung up, different from his ancestor, Homo erectus, and without a proper and normal evolutionary growth that would have permitted that. Geneticists tell us that this showed that something happened. Someone affected, put a hand in the evolutionary process and interrupted it. And so the story we have in the Bible is actually, the story we have in the Bible is the process whereby a man and a woman who used to be naked and didn't know how to farm, didn't know how to, were not bearing children by the process of sex, suddenly changed and realized they were naked and or whatnot. So that's the point where creationism crosses the path of evolution. So that's all I can say at this point.
Dr. Anchalu, my name is Stephen Thompson. My question is, the region where you found the stone inscriptions, would that have been the region where the Nok or Nok culture was located? Now, when I say Nok or Nok, I'm spelling it with a capital N-O-K. Would they have been somehow related?
Yes, the answer is yes, because in the between 9,000 BC and 5,000 BC, we discovered that there was a thriving civilization called Biafra in the area of Nigeria, Cameroon. And that civilization was a mighty civilization, and it enveloped much of Nigeria and the Cameroons and some environs. Its center was where you now call Nok. ICOM appears to be its library, where information was stored in the remote forests for safekeeping, so to say.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's about all the time that we have for questions right now. We're going to be taking a short 10-minute break.